Good morning, everyone. I forgot to put my background on so that I could get all set here. So I'm just going to go live and we're going to wing it here this morning. All of a sudden, I looked up and it said I had 30 seconds until I had to go live. And I'm like, oh, I don't have time to set this all up. So you just get me live this morning and I'll just talk a little bit as people are joining us. Good morning. Let's see. Karen is off already on a flight, so she's not on here, but she'll be watching later. Mary and Renee and Myra, Tammy, Julie, let's see, Kelly, Amanda, Debbie. Good morning, everyone. Oh, what a crazy morning it has been already. Good morning, Kay and Kathy and Lori. Everybody's jumping on here. Patty, Sarah, I'm so glad you guys could all join me this morning, and Linda. Um, so today we have a huge, it's the biggest fundraising event we have for our Catholic school system. And being in the tech department, we are required to be the help desk for tech. It's an auction. So anyone who has problems has to come to us. We have to be there for registration if there's any problem. So I have to be there from about 4:15, 4:30 this afternoon until probably about 11 o'clock tonight. I'll probably get home about 11. So I have a long day ahead of me. So I have not showered yet because this is a very fancy event. So I don't have to dress up because I'm crawling under tables and plugging things in. I can't really be in a dress and heels and stuff. So I will be in pants, but my mom's picking up Lila, and Lila's going to stay with her tonight. And when I'm done with the event, I'm going to go sleep at my mom and dad's house because they live in the town where my church is, and I have to read at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, I might as well, instead of going and picking her up and driving another 20 minutes back, 15, 20 minutes back home, and then having to go back there in the morning, I might as well just sleep there. So we're having a sleepover. My dad's on retreat. And so my mom and I are having a little sleepover at her house. Good morning to all of you who jumped on since I was saying my good morning. So Amanda and Becky and Sandy, Kay is in Daytona Beach, a lot warmer than it probably is here, although it's not too bad. I'm going to take Lila for WALK when we're done here. And Holly in Wyoming, Sarah, Nancy, all of you guys joining me. So I have to let you know, and Lisa's on Facebook. For some reason, Facebook deleted my video from last Saturday. I don't know if I did something wrong. I have no idea, but the YouTube video is there, but the Facebook with all of you who commented, but like Karen just commented on Facebook, and I can see that where I am right now. So I actually went back to the video and watched to see who I had said hello from that I didn't have on my list. When I was doing prizes, I was a little perturbed. I did that last night. I did the prizes last night because I just had no creative juices flowing after a long week of work, and I had one card I had to make yet. So I decided, let me get all my prizes done. Let me get the dimensions in for what I have. Let me cut what I have. And then I'm just going to wake up early and I'm going to make the card in the morning because it'll come to me a lot faster. And it did. So I have a second card for you today. It's based off of something that I received. Hello, Nancy. So what I'm going to do is, because in the streaming software that I use, it gives me everybody's name and it saves all the comments until I close out of it. I'm going to write everything down today before I close out of that. That way I will not lose it. Hello, Marge and Kay and Sue, Sonia, Anne. Let's see, who else did I miss? Betty. I don't know if I said hello to you, Betty. If I did, hello again. All right. So, that all of a sudden last night, I'm like, I'm on Facebook and I can see my link to YouTube, but I can't see the live that you're watching it in right now. And so all those comments were lost. And I'm like, so I don't know if it was the background music I had at the beginning or why Facebook didn't save it, or if it's something I did. So it took me so long last night to do that I'm going to actually be proactive this morning. All right. I do have some happy mail that was sent to me. I received this thank you from Kelly Atchison, who's my upline, because I had joined their wildflower. No, I'm sorry. I had joined their launch party. I had actually helped with their launch party by doing a video. And she sent me some of these party dots, which I'm going to be giving away to one of you today in our prizes. And then look at this beautiful card. I love this paper. I love nautical cards. This comes to me from Anna Revedue, and she was thanking me for doing a presentation when I was in Oshkosh and did that for a bunch of demonstrators. Thank you, Sue, for asking people to like. And good morning, Michelle and Sarah. And look, whoops, I have this sideways. This was made by Angelique. I don't know if she's on here. I think she's a different time, maybe not. But she was thanking me for the presentation in Oshkosh as well. Look at how cute that is with that toadstool paper. And then this was also a thank you. And it had a little, oh, here's the note. I'm like, I know it had a little note in it. This is from Karen. And she was thanking me for the presentation. Look at how pretty that is. I love this layout. In fact, I looked at that and I'm like, oh, maybe I could do that with some different paper. This is using the Hearts of Elegance paper, or the Marbled Elegance paper. And so just gorgeous cards, lady. Thank you so, so much for the Happy Mail. It's so much nicer to go to your mailbox and have some Happy Mail in there instead of always having bills, right? Yeah, Michelle, it is a good crisp morning. It's a kind of a good day. I mean, the sun's not really out bright or anything. Yesterday it was. It was gorgeous. When I got home from work, I ended up going for a WALK with Lila. And it was actually, I was hot by the time I got done because I thought it was really cold. Good morning, Aunt Mary. I'm glad that you're joining me today. And Marcia, good morning. Let's give away some prizes. So last week, I'm not coughing as much, notice. I still do have like a little, every once in a while, it's like, ugh, stuck there. So I do have some water sitting off to the side in case I need it. We made this sympathy card, which I ended up using for the funeral I went to last week, using that mixed media floral paper, which is an online exclusive. And then we made this fun fold. It opens like this, so you can see that little circle when you open it up, and that dog is so darn cute. Doesn't it just put a smile on your face? It does for me. So receiving these for commenting last week is Julie Grassel. So Julie, I think I saw you on here this morning. You were one of the first ones to pop on. Good morning, Mary and Marla and Marva. I don't know if said hello to Marcia. Marcia, hello. But I think Julie's on here. Julie, I can't remember. Did I have the wrong address for you the last time I sent them? If I did, send me a message, because for some reason I think that when I sent it to you the last time, I had the wrong address. There was somebody. I did get something back recently from Texas. And I've tried to reach out to the person, and I don't know if I messed up with the address or what the case is, but I did get a prize back. Then receiving those party dots that I just got in the mail, I'm going to go ahead and gift those out, is for sharing. So anytime you share, whether it be on Facebook or you email the link to somebody, however you share, you also get entered into a drawing. So what I do is I just write all the names down. I assign you all a number, and I do a random number generator. And so receiving these is Lisa Spacek, maybe. And Lisa, must be a first time winner. I do not seem to have your address. So if you could send me a private message or send me an email at createwithsarahllc@gmail.com, I will get these off in the mail to you to use on some of your cards. And then for placing an order. Now here's the deal. Hostess codes are almost done. Host code. They're going to be done on the middle of March. So I didn't even start a new one. I just closed out the one, so you don't have to use the hostess codes anymore. What I'm planning to do is that I get, based on my volume of sales, I get free money to be able to use. So I will be using some of that to continue with my prizes, even though we don't have the hostess benefits anymore. And all you have to do is place an order on my online store, or you can call me with an order and I can put it in for you. And I will still be giving away prizes. So I'll look to see who's placed an order on my store. So receiving this Faith Collection. Now, if you have this already, the person who's winning this, just let me know and I can get you something else. But I had like 5 different prizes to pick from that I had like collected over the last couple of orders that I've had when I've had hostess dollars to use. And I picked this one for the person who ended up winning it because I know you make first communion cards for your kids and you work at a Catholic school. So Denise Umloft, this will be coming your way. And we're actually using this stamp set today and the dies that go with it in our cards. So Denise Faith Collection will be coming off your way. And that is an online exclusive as well. You will not find that in our catalog at all. It is online exclusives. And speaking of online exclusives, as demonstrators, we will be able to order some of the ones that are going to be going live in March. We will be able to get to order those this week on February 4th. So Tuesday, we'll get a chance to order those. And Kathy Miller and I are planning to do a to-go class with something from the online exclusives. We don't know what they are yet. We won't find out until Tuesday, I believe, when we have a regular newsletter that comes out every Tuesday, and we'll learn more about them. Marsha, you are the person whose prize I think came back to me. I just see Marsha Long on here. And I think I have to find out from you what your address is because it came back as undeliverable and it said unable to forward. So I don't know if you moved and I don't have a current address for you. And so, yes, you are the person, Marsha. I'm glad you said that. It is sitting on my kitchen table because it came back this week. It actually is a Christmas gift card holder. So it's been floating through the mail for a while. So I will reach out to me with your address and I will double check to see what I have for my addresses or my address for you. All right, we do have another celebration board filled. Denise got back to me with her numbers, and then I filled in some of my downlines had placed some orders, and so I have the board is completely filled. So I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see here. I'm gonna present my screen, and we'll do our wheel of names, and we'll share it. And I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle up the numbers here a couple of times. And then we'll go ahead and click to spin it and we'll see what comes up. The winner is the person who has picked square number 17. So 17, let me go back here and we'll stop presenting and I'll go like this and we'll go to a big screen and I got to get see, I was doing everything so last minute that my keyboard is still up there. So 17 is Kay Van Eperen. Congratulations, Kay Van Eperen. You get to pick out $25 in product and that will be coming your way. So I will send you an email. I know you're in Florida right now. So if you want me to wait, or I think Marge picks up the stuff that gets delivered to your house, however you want me to do it, I'm happy to do that for you. All right, let's go ahead since I flipped. Good morning, Brooke. Let's go ahead and flip. I will turn off my overhead light. So we get rid of all of those shadows. All right, I think that's a little bit better. All right, the card we're making for our first one. So this is the card that I made the other night, not the one that I made this morning. I received this card from, let's see, Connie Ingram sent me this card in a swap and I just loved it. Isn't that pretty? It's absolutely gorgeous. I forgot what this technique is called, floating something, but it's where you put strips of paper. She put strips of paper on a window sheet. And then after she put those strips of paper on the window sheet, designer paper, she ended up cutting it out with the die. We're not going to do that part of it, but I loved how this looked. And I really wanted to use that stamp set that Denise just won. And mine's not sitting over here for some reason. I want to just make sure this is the new one. Yep, this is the new one. Okay, I wanted to use this stamp set. And so I thought that every time I see this, it looks like a church window where you might have like some stained glass windows or something. And so I thought I'm going to put the cross in there. And I thought that that would look really kind of cool. So this was my inspiration, but we're not doing that floating strip technique that was used in this card. We're just using the idea of the, using the arches. And where do those arches come from? It's a bundle that is in Stampin' Up that's called Everyday Arches. And again, this is an online exclusive. Good morning, Joan. Um, and good morning, Carol. You will not find this in any of the catalogs. So it's an online exclusive. Now we're not using any of the stamps. What I'm using from this bundle are these arches. Look at those. Are they not the coolest? And I'll show you some other cards that I received in swaps using this bundle. Good morning, Dee. Thank you for sharing. And this is just, and I'll show you a card that I ended up making at my event with Christine. So let's see. Let's go ahead and give you the dimensions. So I'm going to have to go away from my comments for just a little bit to get to my banners. So the card base that I'm using is She Had Daffodil Delight. I've toned it down just a little bit with Lemon Lolly. Okay, so this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4.25. So this is just going to be a standard A2 card. Then I have two pieces that measure 4 by 5.25. One of them I used through our distress tile. I ran it through our distress tile embossing folder. I love that embossing and folder. And the other one is just going to be my inside where we're going to do some stamping. I also ran, I got a couple of things in here. I'm going to make sure I don't lose them. There we go. I also ran the flap of the envelope through that embossing folder as well. Since I wasn't using any DSP on this card, I thought that would be kind of a nice way to fancy up. I could have also stamped some of the flowers that we're going to be using. They're little lilies. And I thought I could have stamped those, but I thought it was cool sometimes just to be very, this is going to be a thinking of you card. It could be used for just about any occasion. I already used those dies and I cut one of the, let me throw some white here so you can see it. So this is my bigger size. From what she did, I went a little bit smaller than hers. So you see a little bit more of the distress tile, but I cut one of them in the Lemon Lolly. And then I did the size right underneath it in basic white. Okay, a couple of other things that I cut ahead of time from our iconic imagery. So I was looking to see where in the world did she get that label where she stamped the Happy Spring, and it was actually from this iconic imagery. There are 3 labels in this, and this is also an online exclusive that's still available. There's this really big label, and there's these actually there's 3 because there's a really, really tiny one as well. And I used this one right here, which was kind of more of the medium-sized one. I'm going to keep that out because I used it in my next card. Since I had pulled it out and found it, I'm like, I'm going to use this again. I have a scrap of white. I have a scrap of Lemon Lolly that we're going to use as well. All right, so let's go ahead and bring our stamps in here. I've got a blending brush, and I've got some Old Olive ink, some Pecan Pie ink, and some Lemon Lolly ink. And I did cut ahead of time. There in the dies, there is a solid cross, and I did that in crumb cake. And there is this kind of like wood grainy type cross, and this I cut ahead in pecan pie. Now, what I did with this, and some of the people who were at my stamp club last time asked me about the adhesive sheets because they had never used them before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never demonstrated that on a video. So let me go ahead and hide this and come back to your comments so I can see your comments. I thought I should show everybody this because I just assume people know how to use this, but it could be that people don't know how to use our adhesive sheets. So how you use these, and I just want to make sure I do not lose, I've got a couple of pieces here yet that we need for our card. So our adhesive sheets come, I think this is actually 12 inches, and I think it's 6 inches wide, maybe 10 inches by 6 inches. But they come like this. And notice, I don't know if you can see this. I'll maybe try to bend it on there. There are parts in it where there's like, I don't know if you do labels. I always sometimes you get the labels where it's the split. They have like it split right here. And sometimes you don't. And the ones that I always make sure I get the ones that are split like this. It's so much easier to take the backing off. But there is backing here. So I cut this at 2 inches and then I cut it at 3. I didn't want to cut right on that slit because I wanted to be able to use that. So this is my 2x3 piece. And notice I have this little slit here, so it's easy for me to pull this off. So there's basically a white film on both sides, and there's glue in between. So I cut this piece that we're going to cut our cross out of, and I just peel back the layers. And again, it's so much easier to do it if you use it on that little slit. And then you press this down onto your paper. And basically what you're doing is you're making your cardstock into a sticker. Good morning, Julie. Are you on your way back? You were on a bus, I think, last week. um, and then you would put your die, and I don't know where I put my stamp set that has my dies in it. It should be here somewhere. Oh, here it is. It just got buried with all the samples I'm going to share with you after. Okay, so here's our solid die. Here is the other one. And I just went ahead and ran that through there. And what it does is it turns it into a sticker. So now all I have to do is peel off the back of this. And another nice thing is it usually picks up all those tiny little pieces that you have to sit and use a um, pokey tool to be able to get out. And now I'm just going to layer this. Excuse me. I still do cough a little bit, just not as much. Okay, I'm going to layer that right over the top of that crumb cake. Let me put this on here so you can see that. Okay, so it kind of makes it look like it's a wood grain thing, and it's just basically the two pieces. Oh, thank you. Is it Rena, maybe? Rena, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All right, and I'm glad you like my projects. All right, on this scrap of white, we're going to use some old olive ink. And I'm going to stamp this image. And there's like a cross in the center of it, and then there's all these palm branches around the outside. And so I'm going to ink that up good. I should really have my sheets down or be on my glass mat to stamp this, but look at how cool that looks, right? And look at how this goes right in the center of it. So you can put like the real cross right in the center of all of those palm branches. I loved that. It's so cool. And there is a die. Now you could stamp that right on top of here. I wanted to have like a little bit of yellow coming from behind it without having to do that on here and then stamp. And then what if I make a mistake? Then I've got to die cut and I got to redo that and waste paper. So this right here will cut that out for you, die cut that out for you. And through the magic of TV, I have that done. Now, I don't know if you can notice this, but I just re-inked my old olive ink pad, and it looks like it's really, really a lot darker. And I don't know if you can tell on that. Once the ink dries, it does get a little bit softer in color and more like the old olive. This ink is still kind of wet and it has to dry. Not wet, but once it soaks into the paper, it is just a little bit softer, especially after you re-ink. All right, on our scrap of lemon lolly with our pecan pie or pecan pie, however you say it, wherever you live, I'm going to stamp these two lilies. And then there's a bigger single lily that I'm going to stamp. Okay. And again, there are dies. Let me pull this out so you can see. This one cuts out the 2, and this one right here cuts out that single one. Whoops, let's see. Like that. Okay, so cut those out. I'm going to put those back because through the magic of TV, I have that done for us this morning. So you don't have to wait for me to run it through my die cutting machine. So I have those 2 cut out already. And then I'm going to make a couple more of these cards because I really liked how it turned out. Then I'm going to, on that label that I cut, that I shared with you. I know I shared it with you because I told you where I found it, right? Let's see, where is it? Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. I want to make sure don't need that. Maybe it's still in here. No, I swear I had it out. Because didn't I show you where I got the label from? Let's see. I might have to cut another one. I do not see it sitting anywhere around. Does anyone else see it sitting around? Am I missing it here somewhere? 1, 2, da, da, da. No. All right, I'm going to cut another one because I don't want to waste your time. But it's from this iconic, oh, here it is, with the iconic imagery stamp set. There is that little label. And I'm going to use, in here, there are a bunch of different greetings. There's an Easter, so there's He is risen. God is love. I was thinking, Denise, I know you always make first communion cards for all your second graders. If you did God is love and you even put, like, if you cut some sort of a little host and put that in the center of it, since all the first communions happen after Easter, that might be kind of cute. I think you might have one that you just do every year, but I thought you created something new every year. You're such a great teacher that you care that much about the kids that you make them all a handmade card for their first communion. I think you said you do for all their birthdays too. That's amazing. All right, thinking of you in the center of that. I did a pretty good job on that, didn't I? Look at that. It's even straight and centered. And I did it all looking over a camera. And then on the inside layer, I am going to, let's make sure I don't lose these again. I'm going to use the other greeting, which says, let your faith be bigger than your fears, which I think, like, what a great saying, right? Like, have our faith help us to overcome the fears in our lives. And I'm just going to stamp that up a little bit higher so I have enough room to write something in a greeting underneath. All right, I'm done stamping. I'm going to keep my yellow out here because, like I said, I wanted to have just a little bit of kind of like a light coming through the back. So I'm just lightly going to use the Lemon Lolly ink pad and one of my blending brushes. Now, these little color things that I have on my blending brushes, I got those from the Country Beehive, which is in Minnesota. You can order them online. She has a whole lot of different 3D printing things that she does. And now I'm just going to designate this as any of my yellows. I'm going to use this brush. And you can clean out your brushes and you can use them in multiple colors, but I use a lot of blending. I do blending quite a bit on different things. And so I decided I'm going to try to just have a brush that's dedicated to the colors that I use the most, which are usually like a yellow, a brown for sand, a blue for skies, green for grasses. So yeah, so I'm just adding, I didn't want it to be completely yellow because I didn't want it to take away from layering it on here. I still wanted that white to show up. But now when I put this on here, you can kind of see there's a little bit of the yellow, just a faintness of yellow behind it. All right, we are ready. Yes, we are. We are ready to put our card together. Woohoo! All right, let's go ahead and let me get this out of the way. And Lisa, you got those from her as well. I can't think of her name because I learned about her from Susan Campfield, talks about her all the time. She has some liquid glue holders and let's see, some of the other things. I also got some of the 6x6 paper holders from her, and she does 3D printing of all of that stuff and sends them out, and they're all very reasonably priced. I mean, I don't know. She can't be making too much money on them, and it must be more of a service to people because she does, her prices are very, very reasonable. So if you just search her on YouTube, I could probably add a link as well after I'm done here where you can find those things. All right, this is our inside layer. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this one down flat. And this is how that card sample that I was using, she had this put down flat and then she raised up the second one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this one down using just liquid glue. And then I'm going to raise this one up on some dimensionals. So I'm going to grab some of my dimensionals here. I like to have, I mention this quite often. I used to just put a couple of dimensionals on cards, and I found that if they were running through the mail and going through the machine that they have, if they don't have enough stuff in the center, it kind of ruins the card when they go through some of those machines at the post office. So I've started to put more and more dimensionals on just so that I don't ruin the cards. All right, look, you can kind of see that. I don't know if you saw how dark it was before, but it has already lightened up a little bit as well. I'm going to put this down just regular with liquid glue, or you could use an adhesive. I'm just going to center that right in that arch. And then I'm going to raise my cross up. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on that. Probably could use some minis here because they just barely fit, but they do fit. And we'll pop that up here in the center. And my thinking of you is just going to come down here. I'm just going to throw some dimensionals on the ends of that. Oops, I missed my basket there. They popped back at me. There we go. And I'm going to throw these, the one with the 2 flowers. I'm just going to throw a little bit of glue on that. And I'm going to put those in the center of my cross. Just holding it to make sure it stays on there. And then this other one, I'm going to throw a dimensional on the back of that. And I'm just going to pop that right over here in the corner. Raise that up a little bit. And then I wanted to add just a little bit of something. So this is a trio pack of baker's twine that comes with some Balmy Blue, and I think it's Flirty Flamingo. It might be Flirty Flamingo, or it might be, let me think, what else? Yeah, I think it is Flirty Flamingo. And then this Lemon Lolly. Might be Calypso Coral. I can't remember. I think it is Flirty Flamingo now that I think of it. I don't remember. But it's the 3-pack. It could be used probably with Calypso Coral or Flirty Flamingo. Come on. There we go. And I'm just going to add that kind of in the corner of my little greeting there. So I'm just taking a glue dot. I just took one in my finger and I'm kind of rolling it up between my fingers in a little ball. I'm going to set it right up in the corner where I want that to go. And then I'm going to press that knot right into that glue dot. And then we have our antique pearls, I think they're called. Yeah, antique pearls. I'm just going to take some of these little ones and I'm just going to put them in the center of the 3 flowers like that. And there is our card. Thinking of you, let your faith be bigger than your fears. You can kind of just see a little bit of that yellow peeking out in the back of the white, so it's not as stark white in the center. Oh, thank you, Mary. I had fun making this. Like I said, my inspiration came from this, and I just wanted to use that cross somehow. I use a lot of thinking of you cards, and sometimes I don't even put a greeting in the center. It was so funny because somebody that I know from church asked if she could buy some cards for me, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. What do you want? She goes, oh, some different birthdays, and then I don't know. What do you find you use the most? And I said, I find I use thinking of you because if I just put thinking of you on the outside and I leave them blank, I could use it for sympathy. I could use it for get well. I could use it for somebody who's terminally ill and I just want to send them think like I'm thinking of you greeting. And it doesn't have to necessarily have anything on the inside, or I can just stamp a greeting when I'm ready to send it if I want to do that. So that is our first card. I do have, so here was the one I did Thursday night when I was working on that. And here are some cards that I got in swaps that use these everyday arches. I don't know which one I did today. I think this one has more yellow. I think that's the one I did today. And here's my envelope. So this one I got from Jeanette Swain. Jeanette had to do this bundle for the bundle swap that I was in. Oh, did somebody ask about the one more year? Debbie, thank you for letting them know if that was a question that I missed. Oh yeah, Julie did. Thank you, Debbie, for answering that for me. I missed it. So this uses those arches along with the paper that goes with that bundle and the stamp set that goes with that bundle. I didn't use any of the stamps. And use the smallest one as kind of a little label. So isn't that pretty? And then this was also, I think, from maybe Jeanette. I don't remember for sure. I don't have a thing on the back of it. So again, layering a bunch of them, and then the gems that come with that have a little bit of purple and blue in them, and they just sparkle. So just layering a whole bunch of them on top of each other. And then there's this one, which these were actually taller and she cut them all off to be a little bit shorter. And this again is using some of the dies that come or dies from a different stamp set, but then using the stamp set that goes with that. These we made at the when I went to that creative estate in Oshkosh. So again, we use the hello like this. Here we cut out of this night of navy, and then we embossed the outside of that. And then the inside piece was used on a different card and embossed with a different embossing folder. I love those arches. I think they're really, really cool. And like I said, I was seeing, for some reason, I was seeing church window type thing when I saw it. So that's what led me to use that Faith Collection stamp set or bundle with the card that I made today. I'm going to keep these out because we're going to use those in our next card. And let me switch my buckets here and bring in my next one. So this next one is inspired by a card that we did at the Creative Escape. We did this card, which uses the paper from the Storybook Friends or Storybook Garden. I don't know what the paper's called, but it has Storybook is what the Storybook Friends is one stamp set. The Storybook Gardens is another, and it just doesn't use any of the little characters, but it used this frame. I love the color combination of the Lost Lagoon with the uh early espresso ink, and I love just putting a greeting in the center of this. I loved the white ribbon that they combined with it, so I took this inspiration. It uses that same embossing folder, by the way. It's popular embossing folder. We're not going to use the embossing folder, but I decided to use a different greeting because I didn't have this one, and I decided to put it into a fun fold. So we're going to be using a fun fold using this paper today. Good morning, Gian. Hello, Joan. Um, okay, Joan, I will answer that later. I will check my emails. I think I remember seeing it yesterday. I just didn't get back to answering all of them. So I will definitely get that to you, Joan. Thank you. Um, Tuesday. Yeah, 2/1 is already today. Can you believe it? It is already February. Whoops. I gotta get my sample, just fell on the floor. All right, so this is a fun fold. I'm gonna go away from the comments for just a little bit to give you these dimensions. So our fun fold, this is a fold I've done before. It's not new. This is 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 2 1/8. I scored it at 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. This is going to be like a center Z fold, I think is what most people call it. All right, then I have another piece of Lost Lagoon that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of early espresso because I love that combination together that measures 3 by 4. I have two pieces of early espresso that measure 1 by 4. And then I use that designer paper that we had in this sample that I was using. And I have a piece that measures, whoops, two of them. They're in here somewhere. Here they are. I have two of them that measure 3/4 of an inch by 4. Okay. And then I have one that measures 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And, oh, this is for my envelope when I'm done. This is also, sorry, I'm like, what is this? This is 3 by 4. This is going to be for our inside. And then I did die cut that frame. And it is different on the top and the bottom. I put the little thing that had the little slit where you could put a ribbon through it if you wanted to. We're going to just tape a ribbon there, but that is on the top. And so I die cut this, and then I die cut it again just to get the centerpiece in basic white. Okay, so that goes right back in there just like we did on that one. All right, and oh, and I did use that iconic imagery. Oh, where did it go now? I saw it in there. Oh, it's still in there. I used the iconic imagery since I had that out. I was looking for a tiny heart because the greeting we're going to do says something about a heart. And this had this little tiny heart. So I have that stamp set to stamp it on the inside. And it also has a die to go with it. So I die cut it out of the Lost Lagoon. Now I got to make sure I don't lose that. All right. The stamp set that I am using for this, obviously I didn't pull it out. Something to, here it is. I did pull it out. It's just sitting on a different counter. We're using the So Sincere. There's so many different greetings that are types of greetings that are in here, but this knowing you brings joy to my heart fit perfectly in that oval. And so I decided to use that greeting. My first thought, and this is my go-to stamp set, um, is my comforting thoughts. This thinking of you, praying for you, hoping with you fits perfectly in there as well. I was going to use that, but I'm like, I use that all the time. They're going to think, does she ever use a different stamp set? But this is probably my most loved stamp set. So if you're looking for a stamp set to get for any of those, like wishing you comfort, hope this is a feeling better kind of day, there is no good card for this. There's one that says cancer sucks. So this is one that I have used quite often. But I decided to use something different today. But I wanted to point out if you have that other stamp set, that does work. All right. So the only stamping that we have to do is a little bit on the inside and this outside, and then we'll go ahead and put this fun fold together. This is one of those really, really quick and easy fun folds that doesn't take, hello, Sonia. Welcome for the first time watching. We're glad that you found us and that you're here. So this is Early Espresso ink. Knowing you brings joy to my heart. I thought this could be a thank you. It could just be a thinking of you. It could be anything you really want it to be. Some of those, I just need a card to send to somebody. Um, I'm in there's like this leadership training that I've had to go to all year. It's once a month. We actually had 3 days in August that we had to go to. And now it's been one full day a month since then. Um, and one of the things that we talked about is being more grateful, like having a grateful heart and having gratitude in our lives. And I find that, I do all this stamping and I should be sending more like, I'm just grateful you're in my life. It doesn't mean that you had to do something to be able to earn that. It just means that I need you to know that I'm grateful and I need to do a better job of that. Um, Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Debbie. And your name just popped up. You're a person, Debbie, that does that very well. Debbie just sends cards, just to send cards, which is so nice sometimes. That's always so thoughtful when I receive a card and it's like, okay, I didn't do anything and she just like sent this beautiful card to me. So I wish I was more like that and I had more time to do that. I make all these cards. I need to get them in the mail. Okay, we're ready to put this together. So I'm going to fold this in half at the 5.5-inch score mark. Okay, and just like our book fold, we're going to fold this back the other way. And then besides folding that back, we're also going to fold this little piece back as well, so that we end up making, there's our little center. See how it's in the center of the card? There's like a little center Z fold in the center. Okay, we can go ahead and glue this down already. I was going to put a little ribbon there, but I decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and glue that little part down. Okay, our designer paper is going to get layered on these two little strips. And notice that it goes right up. These are each 4 inches long. So it goes right up to the top. There's not like a little border at the top of them. So this is from that storybook paper. It's just not one of the ones that has characters on, but I love the little design in that. And I'll show you some other cards that people made as well. Oh, thanks, Lisa. And then go like that. So those are going to be on our two sides. This is going to get layered. Now, all of this is just regular, nothing on dimensionals yet. It's going to go on there, and that's going to go on our layer of Lost Lagoon. So you see where my inspiration all came from? This little piece right here. I'm like, oh, I like that. What can I do differently with it? So it kind of looks the same a little bit, except for the Lost Lagoon is back there. And we're going to put this in the center, just like we did there. And we're going to put our greeting right here. We're going to jazz it up just a little bit. But now we're just going to make it the fold a little bit different. So that's how I just thought I'd share this because that's how I get my inspiration and that's why I swap. It doesn't mean I have to make the card exactly like the person that sent it to me. It can sometimes I can look at something and say, huh, how could I use that centerpiece like we had there and put it into something different? And that's really what I'm doing here. All right, and then this piece is going to go on this end. And then our inside piece, which again, all I did was stamp that little heart, and I did not stamp any sort of greeting, so I could put a greeting on if I want to when I'm ready to send it. And I'm just butting this right up to that brown, and then that will give me an even. Now, if you wanted to, you could have cut this entire thing and put that on top of the white. I just decided to do it this way. All right. Then I'm going to add adhesive just to this strip right here. And then we're going to center this. So this should come up right about to your, you want it to come right to your edge of your brown, but you want to make sure that it's, it looks like I have this a little crooked. Let me fix this with my bone folder. There we go. And then I want this to come right up to that. Line it up along the top and it should come right to the edge of the brown on that side. And then it opens like that. Okay, I'm going to put this down. I could have put my adhesive sheets on this, but all the center is covered then in adhesive sheet, and it kind of seems like a waste of the adhesive sheet. And there were enough places that I felt like I could just put a couple of dots of glue and it would hold it in place on this. I haven't used my glue yet this morning. Oh yeah, I have, because I used it before. Sometimes when I haven't used it yet on a day, it takes a little bit for it to come out, but I'm just lightly pressing to get it out and then using the tip to kind of spread it around in different areas. So this one isn't too dainty. That other wood grain one, oh my goodness. If you had to put the glue on that, you definitely would have had to use like a sponge dauber to do it. Okay, so we're just going to center this in the front, on the front here. And it is like it goes right to the brown and goes up to the brown. It's a pretty big label or frame, but I love those frames. And then this is just going to go up on some dimensionals. I'm watching my little heart over there so I don't misplace it. Is anybody else watching it for me? All right. This is going to go in the center, raised up. All right, my heart, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. Just going to add some glitter to that, which I know you probably can't see, but it is kind of, oh yeah, maybe you can see it a little bit. There's a little bit of sparkle there, and I'm going to use a glue dot to attach that. Knowing you brings joy to my heart, and I'm just going to put the little heart right up there to add that, That's what we're talking about, is how the joy is in our heart. And then this is the let's see, woven ribbon, which is part of the suite of products with the arches. And I'm just going to tie this into a bow. We're just going to make a small bow. This ribbon is wonderful for that. I don't even find that I need my bow maker. Um, Now watch. Now I'm on live TV. I probably won't be able to do one. But all the bows that I've made using this have been so, so easy to make. There we go. And we'll cut a little bit off here. And we'll throw a glue dot on that knot. Put that right up there. So see, I moved the ribbon to the top instead of along the side. And I'm going to take the little pearls that are on there. I'm going to take this medium-sized one instead of the smallest one. And I'm going to set it right down in the bottom. So knowing you brings joy to my heart. And then you open it and you can add whatever you want for a greeting. So this was my inspiration. This was a card, and I love this card. I mean, sending just a bit of love your way, and it actually has with sympathy on the inside. I just kind of took this part right here, and I'm like, what could I do with this? And it kind of turned into that. So it's a fun fold. We'll go ahead and add our paper to the flap of our envelope here. My gosh, can you hear Lila snoring? It's so funny. She's really snoring. I don't even know what she is. I don't even see her. I only hear her. So she must be in the living room. I can hear her snoring in here. Maybe she's not ready for a WALK. Maybe she's tired. All right. Cut that off, and there is the envelope to go with that one. So there's that card, and we have this card. Oh, and I have samples of some of the storybook cards that I received. Also the ones that I had to do this bundle in the suite swap that I was in. So we all had a swap suite that we had to do. This is from Jeanette Swain as well. She was the one that did some of those other ones. So this uses one of the other frames. And she put all of those little pieces, it looks like, back in. She did. She pieced those back in there. Unbelievable. That uses the same paper. She used Pretty Peacock instead of Lost Lagoon in the background. And then she also made this one. So not only were we in a suite swap, we could also get in other ones where you had to make two designs with one bundle or one suite of products. And this was the other one. I love that. This one also used some of that paper, and some of the other paper used that frame that she used as well. And just did one of the thank you very much. And then this uses the same paper we did. It uses one of the other frames that's in there. And these are little cutouts that are part of that paper. When you get this paper, you get 2 sheets of cutouts, and that little bunny's one of the cutouts. And that little brick wall is in there. All right, and then there's another one here I thought that I had before I get to mine. I guess not. Okay, then the ones that I did for my swap, I did this one, which uses that same frame. I used the brick wall down here, and I did a little baby card because I have a niece that's expecting a little girl. So, and then I just did the yay, so happy for you on the inside. And I brought that little brick wall along the bottom into the inside. And then I did an Easter card, and this was a fun fold that opened like that. And this I actually stamped and colored. I didn't really like how his hands were kind of like, they looked like they were supposed to be holding an Easter basket, but I didn't have a little Easter basket to put in his hand. So I put the Easter greeting banner right over the top, but that uses that same. And then I put my little bow down here instead of at the top. And then this is some of the paper that you could cut out. And then it also has some of that plaid paper is also part of that suite of products. So this was one that I did for my swap. And then you saw this one already because I did this one in a live already where this folds up. Actually opens up like this. I think this was a creative challenge that we did. And I did the carrots just a little bit differently than how we did them that day. Because if I did them the other way, I was going to have to run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I think I had to make 11. And so I would have had to have cut it through, I don't remember how many times, but it almost doubled how many times I had to run it through. So those are just some cards using some of that paper and also using that suite of products. All right, let me turn my light back on. All right, let's see. We'll come back to you. All right, so just a reminder that next week I will be posting a video. It will post at my normal time at 8:30, but I will not be live. So I will not be commenting, I will not be answering comments or anything like that. But if you do comment, if you do share it like you do any other week, the week after you will be winning some prizes. I'm going to actually wait and I'm going to give the prizes out because I'm probably going to make the video earlier in the week because as it gets closer to the weekend and I have to get ready for that retreat, it's going to be really, really, really crazy. Marla, what is the name of the frame set? That comes from the Storybook Friends. So it's the one that has all those little rabbits and all kinds of things. There's like little squirrels, but those frames are part of that. So, what does it say? My daughter is expecting a girl in April. Oh, 6 grandsons, Lisa. How exciting that you will get a granddaughter. I had someone who had just the opposite, a family at our school. They have, let's see, they have 4 girls, and then their 5th one was a boy. So they finally got their boy. My brother had 3 girls. My other brother had 3 boys. And we always joked that at Christmas time they should maybe switch partners and go home, but we never did that. But then my brother adopted a little girl, so they have 3 boys and a girl, and my other brother has 3 girls. So it's kind of nice when you get that other gender, right? Do you post measurements besides in the video? Kathy, I do not. I used to, but I also have a full-time job that's more than full-time. And it takes me, in order to do the pictures and to get all of the measurements typed and to do all of that kind of stuff for my blog, it probably takes another hour and a half to almost 2 hours to get all of that done and get it all posted. So I decided that it was easier for me to post the measurements in the video. Now, if I can reduce the hours at my other job and not have to work as much and have some more time to do this job, I will probably go back to doing it again. But for right now, I have to pick and choose the things that I can do to be able to still get some sleep at night. So, all right. Thank you, Anne. I will definitely, it's a women's retreat. It's at a resort that's about an hour and 15 minutes. I'll actually see Becky there next week at the retreat. But I have to give a talk. So I have it written. I have to go back and do some editing and revising and stuff, but Yeah, I have to give a talk at this retreat. So that's why I'm thinking I probably will make my video earlier in the week, maybe even tomorrow. So I won't be able to give away prizes yet because I allow people all week to make comments. So anyway, I will definitely have a video for you. It just won't be live. And then I'll be live the weekend after. I'll actually be later because I have a card buffet, and so I'll be a little bit later. For those of you that get my newsletter, I apologize. My goal all week was to get my newsletter out by yesterday, so by the 31st. But I have 3 cards that I have to finish for my card buffet, and I thought it would be easier to include all of the pictures and the signing up for my card buffet right in the newsletter rather than having to have another email come out from me that has all the information for the card buffet. It's just easier to put it all in one. And so a couple of hours of working yet today, and I should be able to get that off to you. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I will I'll be here next week. I just won't be able to communicate with you next week. So I hope that you have a great couple of weeks. Thanks so much for joining me and have a wonderful weekend and a great week ahead. Thanks. Bye bye.